Martin Luther didn't like the Catholic Church and founded the Lutheran Church. Calvin didn't like the Lutheran Church and founded the Reformed or Calvinist Church. Henry VIII didn't like being denied Catholic marriage and founded the Anglican Church. John Smith disliked the Anglican Church and founded the Baptist Church. William Miller didn't like the Baptist Church and founded the Adventist movement. Ellen G. White really liked what William Miller said and founded the Seventh-day Adventist Church. Charles T. Russell didn't like the Adventist Church and founded Jehovah's Witnesses. Joseph Smith disliked the Methodist Church and founded the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, also known as the Mormons. John Wesley disliked the Anglican Church and founded the Methodist Church. Some pastors didn't like the Methodist Church and founded the Pentecostal Church. Many did not like the Pentecostal Church and founded thousands of churches like Stop Suffering, Assemblies of God, Light of the World, etc. The evangelical movement came from the Baptist Church, while the born-again movement came from the evangelical churches. The born-again faith emerged in the late 1930s in the U.S., and it gained popularity in the 1970s and 1980s, its golden age. There are now 35,000 different so-called Christian religions, each claiming their interpretation of the Bible is the right one.
35,000 different denominations. Confusion is part of life. Damn.
Martin Luther.
Peace and blessings to the chosen. Shalom. First and foremost, all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh Bashem Shai. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone. Salutations to the Akim, pushing his truth, sincerity, and charity on the road of Allah, and responding to this video. Fair use for educational purposes solely. We have a Acts 5:38, and I say unto you, refrain from these men and let them alone. For if this work be of men, it will come to naught. But if it be of God, ye cannot overthrow it, lest haply you be found to fight against God. So here it is, all these denominations they had, and what came about. Matthew 24:14, and this gospel of the kingdom shall be preached in all the world for a witness unto all nations, and then shall the end come. So Christianity has been around for centuries, and the book was sealed then. Basically, the book was sealed. Nobody could break down these doctrines in the scriptures. They couldn't break these things down. It was sealed. Once the seals are opened, that's when the motion went about to forward the end. So what is the gospel? The gospel of the kingdom to be preached in all the world for witness to all nations. And after that, the end shall come. That's the real truth was being preached right now before you. Where you have brothers on the four corners of the earth preaching in different parts of the world, rising up, coming to the truth and the knowledge and the faith of Yahweh Bashem Shai. So, it's what I want to say. And this gospel is spread by faith. The thing that they call the gospel, their religion, was spread by malice and violence. They forced people to convert to Christianity by the edge of the sword. You had to bow to the cross by the edge of the sword. The people that are on the highways and byways now preaching this word in truth and sincerity. They're not being forced. Nobody put a gun up to their head and say go out into the hedges of the street corners. And no. The Spirit has given unction He told us to be at the gates, rebuke at the gates, to be in the chief place of concourse, as the scripture says, to deliver this message to the people. The internet is doing the heavy lifting of that. And you see that brothers are rising in different parts of the world, different regions, different continents. It is a beautiful thing. But our Father is not the author of confusion, and Christianity is full of confusion. They're over there stumbling over each other right now, divided against each other. Mark 3:25, and if a house be divided against itself, that house cannot stand. It shows you that Christianism is cooked. People still believing in that. They're cooked. Because during the time of its growth and its greatest time, the books were sealed. They couldn't break down these visions and prophecies. But the Wadi Halbashim al-Shad, the seals were loose, that we might receive the knowledge, as is written in Daniel. The knowledge should increase in the latter days. Trying to see. What does it say? They couldn't read it because they were not learned. It says they tried to open the book, and it's a precept that goes into it. And what's the one I want? Okay, it might be this one. Writes Revelation 5 and 3. It says, "And no man in heaven nor in earth, neither under the earth, was able to open the book, neither to look thereon. And I wept much, because no man was found worthy to open and read the book, neither to look thereon." And what does it talk about how they couldn't? That might not have been the one. Forgive me, but it was basically a precept that said they were not learned. Yeah, Isaiah 29:12. "And the book is delivered to him that is not learned, saying, Read this, I pray thee. And he said, I am not learned." In verse 11 it says, "And the vision of all is become unto you as the words of the book that is sealed." So the book was sealed during the very big time of Christianity, from Martin Luther all the way to really Alba Bivens hopping on the scene. So those were centuries, a good set of 2 to 3 centuries of Christianity. The books were sealed, and this is in Isaiah. So it was prophesied the books would be sealed for that moment. It says, "And the vision of all is become unto you as the words of a book that is sealed, which men delivered to one that is learned, saying, Read this, I pray thee. And he said, I cannot, for it is sealed." So they couldn't break these things down. What is Mystery Babylon? What is the controversy of Zion? What is this captivity that the Israelites will go through, where they don't know who they are in a land and that's not, in the land of their captivity? Why are they going to Egypt again? These things they couldn't break down. They couldn't explain the and those are just some doctrines, but there's doctrines they couldn't explain. The book was sealed, but the seals were loosened for the elect's sake. So at the time we sped up, The time has to be sped up for the elect's sake. Because we're in those times where it's not going to be anything left if this is allowed to continue for a long time. This place is death and hell. And Christianity has what good have they really done to make it? If anything, Christianity took part in the robbery, the murder, and the massacre. These were your good old Christians that participated in lynchings, that burned down churches, shot up churches because of the color of their skin, that took lands from people, made the Native American Jakes sign peace treaties while they spoiled them and robbed them and poisoned them secretly without them knowing. These were your Christians that did this. The most heinous crimes in the world, genocides, were committed by Christianity. And you think that's the gospel? You'd be a fool. But nevertheless, there was a lot of things they couldn't break down. They can't break down judgment either, right? That judgment coming from the Lord. They can't break that down. They believe in people perishing innocently when the scripture says that nobody perish being innocent. They can't break that down. They believe in the hell doctrine. They can't even properly break down what happens to you after you die, because the books were sealed in the time of their greatness. And ultimately because the Lord didn't want them to understand. In fact, a common saying among Christianity is this: God works in mysterious ways. And it doesn't say anything like that in the scriptures. In fact, it says that he makes his mysteries known to the people that's close to him. In fact, it said it is given to you to understand the mysteries and the knowledge of the kingdom of heaven. To you it is given. And they ask him, why do you speak in parables? They ask Yahweh. So let me see. Matthew 13:11, it says, and he answered unto them, because it is given unto you to know the mysteries of the kingdom of heaven, but to them it is not given. So that mysterion and the mysteries is given to the people that the Lord is dealing with. Everybody else is they can be lost. They can consider the mystery because the Lord is not dealing with them. He reveals his secrets to his servants, the prophets, as the scripture says. The secrets were not revealed to Christianity. They can't tell you certain things, either because they don't know or they contradict themselves. They can't even get past the pork. Clearly the scriptures say not to be touching that stuff. But nevertheless, hopefully this was edifying. All praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai. Shalom.